Sailing is finally here in Old School RuneScape, and this video is going to cover the Tempor Tantrum Barracuda trial. I've spent a lot of time doing this trial in the beta and alpha, as well as obviously on release. So I'm going to break down everything you need to know, the requirements, tips and tricks, and what you can do to score Marlin rank every single time. Before even starting the Barracuda trials, to be able to do the trial without taking damage and use the rapids, you're going to need a couple upgrades. You need at least a oak hull, an oak mast and sails, and the iron helm. Every other type of upgrade you can do, but those are the core ones. Once you reach level 30 to do the trial, I recommend going through the first couple levels to get a sense of the gameplay loop for this trial. Basically, the way it works is you start on one end and you need to collect crates going in a circle, but when you reach the opposite end, you also need to make sure that you get the rum. That rum then needs to be delivered back to the ship in the beginning. You do this for all the trials, and as you do more trials, more difficult ones, you have to do more circles. So you'll do 2 circles, and then the last trial, the Marlin one, you'll do 3 total circles. So you're collecting 36 crates throughout that, and you're also doing 3 rum transfers. Overall, you're using the rapids to your advantage. The boxes get picked up automatically and there's a good magnet zone to them, and the rum, you don't have to be very close to the boat to pick up the rum or drop it off. Something I also recommend doing, especially when you get to the Marlin rank, is mark all the boxes, make them a little clearer to see. So you can shift click mark object. Now obviously we'll get a plugin for this in the future, I'm sure, but this is very good for this early release of sailing. Now, we're not going to go over the early ranks. They're fairly self-explanatory. They're kind of like a tutorial, so I just recommend trying them, and you should be able to complete them with what you have. But the Marlin rank is a different beast, and it's for a couple different reasons. I would say don't jump into it right away, right? The reason is, at level 31, you get access to a teak hull, and the teak hull makes you much faster. It raises your base speed. This makes achieving Marlin rank way easier than doing it with the oak hull. So definitely go do that, and you should pretty much be level 31 after you've cleared the couple first trials. If not, you can maybe do some salvaging, or you could just do the Marlin even without fully completing it just to get some XP. So highly recommend you do that. Now there are other upgrades you can make, right? But the only one that even gives you really anything that impacts you at this level range is going to be the teak mast and sails. That's at 36 sailing. So that's a little bit further, but you can boost, and you can use yellow stew boosts as well if you want to do that. Or what I just recommend is just make the hull. The hull is actually the largest upgrade that improves your boat. The sail is actually only making your speed boost last for 2 ticks longer, so 1.2 seconds, which is nice, but you can maybe just do it when you reach 36 naturally. Now that you're ready, let's break down this Marlin course. You might think, based on the previous ranks, plus just the natural sense of how this is laid out, that you would do something like doing the inner ring for the first lap, the middle ring for the second lap, and the outer ring for the third lap. And the inner ring makes sense in the beginning where you spawn. There's no disputing that you should start with that. But there's a bit of a problem with doing this pattern. When you get to the other side of the inner ring and you need to pick up the rum, firstly, you're making this first turn, this kind of awkward turn, while you have to trim your sails, and you don't want to miss out on that because that gives you a speed boost. But then you have to do a very sharp U-turn while picking up the rum. This is actually very prone to making errors that can slow you down. And sure, if you need to hit the Marlin rank the first time around, that's going to be annoying because you're not going to get the extra XP. But even when you've completed that, you still don't want things like this to happen because it slows down your XP per hour. So what can we do to alleviate these potential mistakes, especially in this part of the course? Well, it actually seems to be a lot easier to interweave where you're moving between lanes when you're picking up the rum. This is to say that when you are doing the inner lane first, instead of making that sharp turn to stay on the inner lane to complete the full circle, you could instead go to the middle lane halfway through or the outer lane. Now, which one's better, right? Who's to say? I've tried all of them, and it seems like there isn't a clear winner yet, but I will say that I would do whichever one is most comfortable for you to do. If you feel like the middle lane feels very good after that turn, go to the middle. If you feel like the outer lane feels great, go to the outer lane. I've had times where I switch just based on where my boat is. The boat has so many minute details, and on any given run, I'll be like, I'm actually very lined up to go in the middle or the outer, so I'll do that. This is very important to just feel like you're comfortable. Listen, we're only at this course for a certain amount of time. We don't need to shoot necessarily for what is scientifically the best method. We just want to shoot with what's going to give us the most likelihood to succeed. And comfort is going to give you more XP per hour overall than trying to shoot for that potential very high end. We just had a couple great runs in a row using this weaving technique. So I'm going to show off a route that was really effective, and I was getting times in the low 4s. Like I got a 402, 404, sub 4 should be definitely possible with this route. And you'll notice that there's not very difficult turns when we come up here. So when we come up here, you'll notice a lot of people turn sharply over here. Problem is at 30 seconds, we're going to get our first trimming of the sails. Makes this turn a little awkward. Instead, what we're going to do is trim the sails and come through this rock. Now we're going to do our first weave. We're going to go over this rapid, and we're going to go from the inner to the middle. We got it. A little bit wide. Let's see if we can get this rapid. We didn't get it. That's not a problem. But now we're in the middle lane. We're going to ignore crates that are in the inner lane. We're going to ignore crates that are in the outer lane. Focus on the middle. Some will look juicy, but you're going to ignore them. Follow the rapids here. We're going to get another trim because it's every 30 seconds. It won't always be every 30 seconds. If you click it late, it'll get delayed. So naturally, as you go through the trial, it gets more and more delayed. As we come up here, we're ignoring everything except for this box right in front of us. And we're just focused on delivering the rum by going over this rapid right here. And more to the right of it. It's easier on this, but later you got to be more to the right. And now we're going to continue along the middle. Okay, we're getting ready to do our second weave here. There's a lightning storm coming there, so I'm going to go wide to grab this rapid. And we're going to grab that crate here and the crate from before that I mentioned. And we're going to weave from the middle lane to the inner lane. We can't really go to the outer lane because there's a crate behind the Barracuda. We did miss that rapid, but it's fine. We can maybe grab this rapid here to make sure we maintain speed and trim our sails. Might not be the fastest run here, but we'll probably still get low 4 minutes. Okay, we are focused solely on staying on the inside here. So all these crates here on the outside we ignore, and our goal here is to go over that rapid and deliver the rum. Now this, you want to be a little bit more to the right because you definitely can miss this one. So even if you come in just a little bit here, just for consistency's sake, deliver, it's going to be nicer. A lot of boats just showed up, which made that really awkward. Now, the only lane left is the outer lane. So we're just going to go around the outer lane. We're coming to the back here. I try to hit the rapid and the crate. Let's make the delivery. We got 407, which is not too bad, and a level up, and we saw that we could have definitely improved. So hopefully that's helpful, and I definitely recommend doing this route. This is everything you need to be able to get the Marlin rank, and you'll get really consistent with it with all those tips in mind, especially the one about keeping it simple. Don't have a situation where you're trying to make very sharp turns when picking up the rum. Keep it fluid, keep it simple. The consistency will outbalance any potential efficiencies there might be. So you're going to gain your levels, and it's going to happen very quickly. You could decide to go do the quest at level 45, the Tortugan Trouble. It's a quick quest, and I'm sure there'll be quest helper really, really quickly. 10K, super easy. But you'll come back here, and you're going to spend a little bit more time. And there's going to be some upgrades for your boat that you might be thinking about. Not many of them actually impact the trial at this point. You could get a hull upgrade or a keel upgrade, but those are only providing you more hit points, which you shouldn't really need. Typically, the hull upgrades, you might be thinking that the teak one made you faster. Well, the mahogany one doesn't. The next one that makes you faster is the camphor one, and that doesn't come until later. You'll be at the next trial by then. If we're looking at the helm, which helped you with the rapids, they don't help you with these rapids when you upgrade them. They help you with the more powerful rapids. The only upgrade you can do to really speed up your time here is going to be the mast and the sails. So you can do the teak one out of canvas and the mahogany one out of canvas. You can also just skip to the mahogany one, which is what I did. If you're going from the oak one to the mahogany one, for example, you're going to get an extra 3 seconds of boost associated when you trim your sail, which, you know, is nice, but you're already getting plenty of seconds. So that could be something to go do if you can get your hands on the canvas. You might also notice at level 50 that you can build a sloop, a bigger boat that actually has a higher top speed, but these can't be used in a Barracuda trial because Barracuda trials only use skiffs, which I actually like because skiffs will always have a use in that case, and you can build them to optimize for trials. But the sloop is still a really awesome boat, and if you're feeling like you want to move away from this Tempor Tantrum trial for a little bit, around level 50, you can start building stuff like double salvaging hooks and doing either tick manipulation or just chilling with a crew member and actually getting really good XP. And speaking of these upgrades, when you complete the Marlin rank, be sure to talk to the person there. Yeah, you'll get the flag automatically as a reward. You can put it at the back of your ship, which looks really cool. But if you talk to them and you ask for a reward, they'll give you a drink that will give you a +3 sailing boost. So you can use this boost when building upgrades, which is really incredible. On top of that, you can use the barrel stand that you get from completing the first tier to build a keg on your boat, and by buying 25 drinks from the bartender on Pandemonium, you can basically permanently give yourself a +3 boost just by carrying the glass around, and your crew workers will also get a boost to some of their attributes. That's everything I wanted to mention about this Barracuda trials. Keep your eye on the plugin hub. I'm sure there'll be something to make this a lot easier in the future. If this video was helpful, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel because there is more to come for sailing and beyond.